everyone! It's Chapter 11's podcast for NFL Pick'ems.
Woohoo!
This is week 15. Lupo is not here. He has a ear infection. Get well, buddy. It's just me and Matt today. I'm Keller. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. This is Matt.
It's not okay.
You're lucky I can't. Huge week for Matt last week. And Lupo didn't have a bad week either. I came up the rear with my crappy... I would like to hope that they were going to be upsets, but boy, was I wrong. Anyways, back to Matt. 12 wins, 1 loss.
Darn Cardinals.
Lupo, 10 wins, 3 losses. And then me coming up with at the rear with 8 wins, 5 losses. I should have took the other teams, like not the Lions and definitely not the Jags. I probably would have been 11-4. Or no, I don't know. I can't do math.
But you didn't, so oh well. What's the overall?
The overalls is Lupo's still in first. Matt came up in the second, and I'm in now last. But it's only a few games between all 3 of us, so it's still anyone's game with 4 weeks left. Now, for week 15, let's get started. Thursday, December 16th, it will be the Chiefs versus the Chargers. Lupo took the Chiefs, and it's really hard. I really think this is really going to be a good game because the Chiefs definitely turned it around the last few weeks, and the Chargers have also been playing really strong. Justin Herbert looks great with 275 and 3 touchdowns last week, and Patrick Mahomes 258 with 2 touchdowns last week. But both offenses are clicking. So with Lupo taking the Chiefs, Matt, who are you going to pick in this game?
I am also going to go with the Chiefs. They have returned to form. The Chiefs look great again. Derek Gore is the son of Frank Gore, confirmed thanks to Google.
Is it really?
Yeah, I forgot I Googled it.
Did you make that up?
Yeah, I
didn't make it up, but you joked about it.
Yeah, I was like, Gore. Wait, let me check, because I heard something about his son getting in the league, and he's on the Chiefs. Scored a touchdown this week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 2. So 3 total on the ground. They had a great rushing attack against the Raiders, who decided to dance on their logo, which did not end well at all. So lesson learned there. The Chargers look great too. It's going to be a fun Thursday night matchup. Really excited to watch this one. I think the Chiefs are just going to edge them out.
I agree with Derek Gore being kind of like stepping up now. I think that offense is even more balanced out with the passing from Patrick and now rushing with Gore and Edwards-Helaire. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs too. As much as I really like the Chargers being a little bit strong the last few weeks, I just think on paper and just the way the Chiefs have turned it around the last few weeks, I got to go with them as well.
And the injury status for Austin Eckler is still uncertain as of recording on Tuesday. He did not practice on Monday.
The next 2 games will be on Saturday due to college being over. It would be on December 18th. The first one out of the 2 is the Raiders versus the Browns. Lupo took the Raiders, who got destroyed against Kansas City last week. Turnover city for them. I think they had 4 or 5 fumbles.
Yeah, they couldn't hold on to the ball at all.
Yeah, an interception. They had no rushing game at all. Hunter Renfrow, though, is really just turned it up, and he finally got a touchdown.
He feels a lot like Brandon Cooks right now in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Where he's the only bright side on the team.
Yeah.
That's the exact vibes I'm getting from Renfrow.
Actually, the Raiders were they had a little bit strong streak. I think they were doing good until the drama started. Then they've just been hot and cold.
Yeah.
I got to do shout out to Deshaun Jackson. 1 catch again, man.
Yeah, 20 yards?
He's
19,
He's been keeping the trend with 1 catch, even when he was on a different team. It does not matter. But yes, on the other side, the Browns beat a Ravens team with Lamar Jackson getting injured, believe it or not, but we'll get to that later. Kareem Hunt looks like he's injured again, and he's most likely going to be out. But that's okay because you have Nick Chubb and Dearness Johnson. That's a good duo. It's not as good as Hunt and Chubb, but Johnson and Chubb is still decent. And I just want to say Donovan Peoples-Jones looking very, very strong lately.
The people's champ.
The people's wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. And just on defense, I know we don't talk about defense often, but Myles Garrett had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. It's always good to see a big guy lineman like himself score. It's always funny to watch him run down the field and stuff. So Lupo took the Raiders. I'm gonna go with the Browns in this one.
Oh.
I don't like the Raiders. I think they're gonna turn the ball over. I think the Browns defense is good enough to withstand the Raiders. Yeah, I don't know. Raiders just hot and cold. Browns look a little bit more like a better, safer pick for me. And just the rushing for the Browns is just really good. And with the rushing game for the Chiefs against the Raiders last week, I think the Browns will have a better rushing game than the Chiefs did. So the Raiders couldn't withstand Frank Gore's son. Nick Chubb is way better than him. So, yeah, positively going towards the Browns. Matt, who are you taking?
Also going to go with the Browns. I do not like the Raiders at all. They seem extremely inconsistent.
Yes.
I'm going to have to see something before I pick them again.
I agree.
The Browns could be a lot more efficient, but I think they're going to have enough to get the job done against the Raiders here. And they're now the people's team because of Donovan.
So the second game on Saturday will be the Patriots versus the Colts. I also think this is going to be a good early game for the week. Both teams look really good lately. Both teams are also both coming off a bye, so there's nothing really to talk about other than just make a pick. So Lupo took the Patriots, and we all know why you don't go against Belichick. With that being said, I really, really like the Colts. I feel like they got a little hot streak going, but I have to agree with Lupo. You don't go against Bill Belichick, and the Patriots have been on a hot streak as well, so I'm taking the Patriots. Matt.
Yep. Yeah, you don't go against Belichick when you have especially when he has an extra week to prepare.
Yeah.
Very, very worth noting here though. Frank Reich, the head coach of the Colts, was on that Super Bowl 52 team with the Eagles when they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. He was the offensive coordinator. So he's handed Belichick an L at the biggest stage of them all, but not Saturday. It's going to be a Belichick game. Mac Jones has looked phenomenal. They're currently the number one seed in the AFC, which I don't think anyone saw that coming at all. So I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Sunday, December 19th at 1 o'clock, the first game of the day will be the Panthers versus the Bills. Lupo took the Bills. The Bills, ever since Matt cursed them, they just look, they just don't look
good. The Jaguars cursed them, not me.
Well, whatever the case may be, they just don't look good. They have no rushing game other than Josh Allen. They don't even really give the ball to anyone. They just make him he threw the ball 54 times last week. That's insane. The Panthers, though, got Cam Newton. He got benched again. Cam Newton blows. I'm sorry, he does. He came back his first week. He talked all that smack saying I'm back, and he got benched, like 2 or 3 weeks in a row now? 2 weeks in a row now?
The issue here is the Matt Rule needs to stop playing quarterback roulette. You got to pick one. You got to stick with Cam or PJ. You can't keep swapping them out, and I don't know. You're not going to get anywhere if you keep just switching your quarterbacks.
Right.
It feels like the Jets back, I think it was Tebow and Mark Sanchez.
Right.
They try to run a dual quarterback set, and they're the Jets, so you can see how that ended.
Right. So before we get into the picks, just for the Panthers, even though Cam Newton, he sucks, he's, in my opinion, I think he's still your best quarterback just because he can run. He had 10 rushes for 57 yards, and I believe he actually, I wouldn't say he ran the guy over, but he gave him a hit and went right through him, and he scored the touchdown. I feel like the dual threat kind of helps you maybe have a little bit of advantage of getting a win, but they just stink altogether, especially without Christian McCaffrey. So, Lupo took the Bills. I'm going to go with the Bills. Matt, who are you taking?
I'm going to be boring and go with the Bills despite the ankle injury that Josh Allen has. He's expected to be fine. Nothing's really out there yet, but you can't really believe everything you hear from training facilities. Emmanuel Sanders is week to week with an injury as well.
The next game will be the Cardinals versus the Lions.
Cardinals moving on.
Yeah, the Lions, I took a chance on them. Hope that would have been huge if they got the upset. When I was watching that game, it was 10-14, I believe. The Lions were only down by 4, and I got a little bit excited. I was like, wow, it's close. I honestly, if they weren't getting blown out in the first quarter, then I was like, I have no hope. But they kept it close, and then after halftime, they just did nothing. So I'm not taking the Lions. Like Matt said, Cardinals moving on.
Yeah, it is worth noting Kyler Murray did not look that great through the air, but I'm just going to write it off as a bad game, and we're going to move on.
The following game will be the Jets versus the Dolphins. Lupo took the Dolphins. Dolphins were also on a bye last week. The Jets, Zach Wilson started some progress. Didn't throw any picks, finally.
That's better than what he's done every single week.
Yeah. Didn't throw any touchdowns either. They only scored 9 points. They had nothing going. They're 3-10. What are you going to do? So with that being said, the Dolphins, had a week to recover from any injuries they were having. So I think the Dolphins look prime and ready to win against the Jets. So I'm taking the Dolphins as well. Matt?
Also going to go Dolphins. The Jets are just miserable and terrible. There's nothing good about them. And the Dolphins have been hot lately. So that's it.
Up next, we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. Lupo took the Cowboys, and I have to agree with him. The Cowboys are going to run all over the Giants, and Micah Parsons is going to destroy whoever the quarterback is for the Giants this week. He was on fire this past week. He had 2 sacks, getting MVP chance, and definitely defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, he's a lock for that. I would go.
Yeah,
he's in the conversation for defensive player of the year now.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Tony Pollard, foot injury was out last week. He didn't practice that whole week apparently. Keep that in mind. It's hard for us to predict who's actually going to start that weekend because we're doing this days in advance, just because of our work schedules. But with that all being said, whether Tony Pollard plays or not, it'll be Ezekiel Elliott and Corey Clement, who aren't as good of a duo as with Tony and Zeke, but they both had decent games, I guess. They didn't really run the ball too much, only 35, but there was other rushers in there. But I'm taking the Cowboys as well. So, Matt, who you going to take?
Yeah, Cowboys. It's not going to be much of a game, I don't think. The Giants are going into rebuilding, and Cowboys are making a playoff push here. Yeah. I think they will lock up a playoff spot this week if they win. I think that's the official stat.
After that, we have Washington versus the Eagles. Lupo took the Eagles. Eagles coming off a bye. Even though Washington's been, I don't know, the way they lost this past week, but they don't look that bad. They've been on a little bit of a nice streak as far as playing wise.
Ish.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson finally didn't have a good game. That would probably, be why. Just because Dallas's defense is just so good. Cam Sims, though, I think he mossed Trevon Diggs.
Oh, did he?
He mossed him. I honestly thought Diggs was going to have a one-handed Odell pick, but Sims mossed him, and I got to give it to Cam Sims. I don't know, man. It's really hard to say because, if we saw the previous week where Antonio Gibson's going off, Tyler Heineke's going off, it's a completely different matchup. But I'm going based off of this performance. I think I got to go with Lupo and take the Eagles just because they're rested. They're coming off a bye. Washington a little bit banged up going against a strong Cowboys defense. So I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles, too. It's been a little boring the past couple picks, but they've been kind of layups. Not layups necessarily, but Terry McLaurin's, he was out early in this game. I'm not sure of his status for next week, but we'll have to see how that goes throughout the week. I'm going to just take the Eagles. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. It could go either way.
So after that, we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lupo took the Titans.
Oh, did not see that coming.
Honestly, the Titans really didn't play good.
And they're trash.
Yeah, they didn't in my eyes, they didn't play good. The only reason they look good is because they blew out a Jaguars team who stinks. You put a different team up there, that 20 points probably goes down to maybe 10. They have nobody. They have no rushing. They have no wide receivers. Julio Jones did play, but he only had 4 catches for 33 yards. Ryan Tannehill didn't do anything. It didn't wow me. So On the other hand, the Pittsburgh Steelers had a great second half. And the only reason I think they came up short was because of Chase Claypool, who was showboating when the game was on the line. You need to have more discipline. If you keep your head in the game, you probably have a little bit more time to get that ball in the end zone. And instead, you're getting a first down with seconds ticking, and you're showboating. That's not going to win you the game. Hopefully, that gets addressed because that was a really good game against the Vikings. So, honestly, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think the Titans are just too banged up as far as wide receivers, as far as running backs, and Ryan Tannehill isn't going to be, I think, their main quarterback in that city for much longer. I feel like he's decent, but he's like maybe a C+ in my opinion. I think it was because, the Dolphins and then Derrick Henry makes him look good and this and that. But now that he actually has to be the guy now, he doesn't wow me, and it's definitely showing. You got to step up when people get hurt, and he's not doing anything. So I'm taking the Steelers. Ben, he's older. He has hot and cold games, but Harris, if he has a good game, that's a plus. And if Chase Claypool gets his act together, again, that's also a plus. And let's not forget T.J. Watt on defense. The dude is a beast. So, and his brother, Derek Watt. So, yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. Matt, who are you going to pick?
I feel like Ryan Tannehill and Alex Smith are the same style of quarterback. They're a game manager. As long as they don't make mistakes, you can win the game. But they can't single-handedly win you a game like an Aaron Rodgers or like a Tom Brady.
Right.
They need the support around them. They need that star running back. They need at least one good receiver.
Yeah.
Which Tannehill normally has. He normally has Derrick Henry. He normally has A.J. Brown, who is young and up and coming and looking great.
Right.
When he doesn't have those weapons, he's exactly what you expected from Alex Smith.
Right.
Makes mistakes, which Tannehill actually played a pretty decent game, taking care of the ball and all that, but he doesn't do enough to win you the game. Whereas Big Ben on the other side of the ball has his weapons, and he has a little bit more of that edge to him. So I'm going to have to go with the Steelers. Just the Titans, without Henry, without A.J. Brown, this team is not going to go anywhere fast.
Right.
The rumors are Derrick Henry might be back for Week 18. So it's a different conversation as we're getting a little bit closer to the playoffs. But for this game, just talking about Sunday, it's going to be the Steelers.
So this will basically be the toilet game of the week.
Of the year.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
God.
It's the Texans, who are 2-11, versus the Jaguars, who are also 2-11.
What time is this game on?
It is the last 1 o'clock game. It's right before.
Just watch a different 1 o'clock game. Don't turn this on. You're not going to see a lot of it on Red Zone. Neither team is productive.
So, Trevor Lawrence had 4 picks.
Oh God! Imagine being a resident of Jacksonville and this is your local game. Oh God!
Right. I really thought that Jacksonville could have had something going with just the Titans being so banged up, but they didn't even score a single point. Trevor Lawrence is terrible. Like you said, they hate James Robinson. I don't know why they don't get him going.
Sorry, the team feels mutual about Urban Meyer. He was going off of calling everyone, like the coaching staff, losers and all that.
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, I could go on this rant forever. And Ohio State sucks. That's just a jab at Urban Meyer a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard to call this game because both teams stink. Lupo took the Jags. I feel like I want to go with the Texans just because I think if it was Tyrod Taylor, I would have definitely took the Texans, but we believe he's out for the remainder of the year. So, Brandon Cooks, though, 8 catches for 101 yards.
All they got.
He's all they got, yeah. Like I said, if the Jags would have got James Robinson going and Trevor Lawrence didn't play horrible, it's such a different game, but he's so bad. I think he's 9 touchdowns for 10 interceptions. I think him and Zach Wilson are shooting out for most interceptions by a rookie.
It's awful, man. And they both... Oh, jeez, this is just...
I know.
It's awful.
Yeah, I don't know. Who are you gonna take, man?
The Jaguars are a mess on the field. They're a mess off the field.
Yeah.
It's just real bad with the coaching situation. The Texans are a mess on the field.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans are a mess off the field. The front office is a mess.
Yep.
I don't even want to pick anybody. I want to pick a tie, but I'm not confident that they'll tie because someone's going to win this game 3-0. And
yeah,
I guess it will be the Jaguars who handled the Bills that one time.
Yeah, I think both wins for the Texans was when Tyrod Taylor played, right?
Yeah, it was week 1 against the Jaguars, I believe.
Yeah, and then the second game was
some week. It doesn't matter if they're both awful. This is whoever loses this game actually wins because they're a step closer to the second overall pick in the draft. The Lions are kind of holding the other one hostage.
Right.
Yeah, I guess put me down for the Jags, and I just hope I see no coverage of this game.
Yeah. Like I said, I would most likely feel like I would take the Texans if Tyrod Taylor was playing, but he's not.
But Brandon Cooks is.
See, here's my. I'm gonna just do a quick throwdown for you, and then I'm gonna make my picks. I don't want to take too much time on this garbage game. Quarterback, they both stink. Wide receivers, you have basically Brandon Cooks versus Marvin Jones Jr. That's it. Running back, it's just James Robinson. So I would say you have a tie.
Is it James Robinson?
Dude,
does he play for the team?
Yeah, I know that you said that last week that they hate him, and I'm starting to agree. Like, he had 6 carries. They had 8 carries total for 8 yards. Like, what happened? I feel like they definitely changed that around. That's not going 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars too, because there's no way you go back-to-back games where you only have 8 carries for 8 yards. That's just and especially you're playing against a lot crappier team in the Texans against the Titans. So I guess, like I said, quarterbacks, they both stink. Wide receivers, you have one good wide receiver on both sides. That's it. Running back, I got to give it to the +1's got to go to the Jags. And they beat the Bills, like you said. So I think with that on their shoulders, I got to go with Jacksonville too. I really don't care to pick any team. I would actually like to pick a tie too, but I think would you say 3-0?
3-0 Jags.
I'm gonna go 6-0 Jags.
Okay, great.
Okay. To start off the 4:00 games, we have the Bengals versus the Broncos. Lupo took the Bengals, and boy, was that a game. The Bengals versus the 49ers last week. I took the Bengals. That's like my team for the year. I've stuck with them literally, I think, every week so far. And dude, that was just a good game. I can't even be mad that they lost. They battled it out, and Joe Burrow, great game. Joe Mixon, they kind of bottled him up. Jamar Chase though, he had 2 touchdowns, but T. Higgins had all the yards, man, 114, but he had no touchdowns. The other side, the Broncos had 38 points, but that's because they played against a dumb Lions team, and I regret picking them because I thought with momentum they would have played a little bit better. It was a close game, like I said in the first half earlier when I was talking about the Lions, but they just did nothing. And with the passing of Demaryius Thomas, the Broncos definitely balled out for him, and that was the rushing game between Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. They just went all three touchdowns between the both of them. But the Broncos also played, for Demaryius Thomas, and they played a Lions team. So you're playing against a much better team in the Bengals. So without a doubt, I'm going to stick with my guns here. My gut feelings tell me that the Bengals aren't going to lose again. They battled. And if they play as hard as they did against the 49ers and just get Joe Mixon a little bit more involved, they will beat the Denver Broncos. So I'm going with the Bengals. Matt, who are you taking?
The Bengals are a better team on paper. There's every reason they should win this game. But I'm going with the Broncos. I'm going with the upset. I like the momentum going into this game. I think they found their identity, that their rushing attack is pretty deadly with that duo. We were talking about it in the beginning of the season when they were 3-0 that they were a fake 3-0. I think right now they're around where they should be, and I think it's kind of going to help the team as they keep going, finding their identity. But yeah, give me the Broncos. Give me that rushing attack. All respect to the Bengals. I think it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I really think it's good game.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm obviously going to stick with my Bengals, but Broncos look strong. But like again, you can't get too hyped because they played for a passing fellow player, which is huge. You know, you definitely want to, ball out for Demaryius Thomas, but they also played the Lions. So
yeah. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna ride the momentum. And Spike, I hope you're listening because the Niners won last week, despite what you said. So leave a comment, buddy.
Boom. The next game will be the Falcons versus the 49ers. We just spoke a little bit about the 49ers playing an awesome game against the Bengals. George Kittle went off, dude. He's
back.
Yeah, he was.
He's a real People's Champ. So sorry, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I gotta give it back to George Kittle.
Was definitely the one picking apart the Bengals defense, and also the Bengals kind of hurt themselves. I think if they would have cleaned up the muff punt and a little bit of the penalties, where it would have put the 49ers into a punt situation, I think the Bengals would have. That game would have not been as good, and the Bengals would have just, I think, beaten them 49ers just straight up. But that didn't go that way. The other thing that's really, really weird is Deebo Samuel, again, has more rushes, I should say, than he does receiving. He had 8 rushes for 37 yards and a touchdown, but he had 1 reception for 22 yards, and that was it. I guess they're like really just drawing a Deebo to the point where George Kittle is just lighting it up now. Yeah. And the only reason going on to Atlanta that they look good is just because the Panthers stink. I don't really have much to say about the Falcons. They don't really wow me, except for maybe Cordell Patterson. The guy just does it all. He didn't really do too much this past week, but like I said, a win is a win. So, Lupo took the 49ers. I'm also going to take the 49ers if like I said with the Bengals, if they play good, they'll win. And if the 49ers play as good as they did against the Bengals, they will win against the Falcons. So, Matt, who are you taking in this game?
Yeah, definitely give me the Niners. The matchup was completely different on the two sides of the ball here. Atlanta against the Panthers. Panthers are terrible. Niners against the Bengals. Bengals have been playing great. Yeah, I said a lot about Trey Lance in the beginning of the year. It looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is getting it done just fine. Trey Lance can take some time and develop, so that's good for the 49ers organization. Interestingly enough, the Cordell Patterson-Deebo Samuel matchup here, not that they're playing directly against each other, but they're both that utility role kind of now, like you're saying with Cordell rushing, with Deebo rushing more.
Yep.
So, kind of interesting setup here that you're getting that wide receiver running back hybrid. Curious if that's going to happen a little bit more throughout the league. In recent memory, Ty Montgomery comes up first for the Packers, but I wonder if it's more of an expanded role at this point, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to take the Niners.
Up next, we have the Seahawks versus the Rams. Seahawks beat up on the poopy Texans, and the Rams actually beating up on the Cardinals.
Way to mess up my perfect streak last week.
Yeah, if the Cardinals would have won, you would have went perfect last week, which would have been insane.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Stafford really, really played good. 3 touchdowns, 287 yards, and he only threw 7 incomplete passes, 23 for 30. They're rushing Sony Michel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
20 carries for 79 yards. And Van Jefferson, just 1 carry, who is also their wide receiver. So
yeah, he had a nice long ball that he caught. He was actually playing against his dad. His dad's the wide receiver coach for the Cardinals.
Sean Jefferson. He actually gave him the game ball, too.
Oh, really? That's cool. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So apparently there is a little COVID outbreak for the Rams.
Yeah, their training facility is currently closed as of Tuesday.
Yes.
So at least 7 players, I think the list said.
And OBJ is one of them, and just the only reason I'm bringing him up is because he actually probably played, his best game this season so far. He had 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. However, if as long as I think, in my opinion, you have Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Van Jefferson, I think your offense is good because your rushing is not that great anyways. And you were doing fine without OBJ before he even came here.
They also had Robert Woods, though.
That's true. But like I said, Van Jefferson being the third before OBJ, I think Cooper Kupp definitely number one.
Oh, yeah.
I would say in order, I would say it's definitely Kupp, Woods, Jefferson. But Jefferson had some blowout games where he was over Woods. So I would say, like I said, if you have Kupp and Jefferson, at least I would say that offense is fine. And Aaron Donald, 3 sacks. Last sack iced the game last week. So, going to the Seahawks, Rashad Penny went off 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, 142 yards, a touchdown. DK, I don't know. He just looks like he just doesn't want to be there. I really liked DK Metcalf because he's just a straight monster, the comparison to Megatron. But Lupo definitely, put it out there and saying DK Metcalf's a baby, and I'm starting to really see that. You're a monster in size and speed at a wide receiver, and you're paired with a great quarterback. So I don't know why you're just so quiet every week. You haven't done anything this week really. So or this year, sorry. So I think even with the COVID, I got to go with the Rams, just because the Seahawks, they're on paper, they look good, but they just don't play that well every week. And I feel like it's their rushing situation. If Rashad Penny takes that role and does good like that every week, that's huge for them. But I don't know. It's a one-time thing so far. So, Matt, I'm going to go with the Rams with Lupo. Who are you going to take?
I'm going Seahawks. I like the additional, don't like it, but the additional time to prepare for Pete Carroll, I think it's going to be huge. Now, I'm sure LA is doing virtual team facility stuff and all that, but it's not the same of actually being out there on the practice field and going through your actual game plan in person and going through the physical activity of it. I'm going to go with the Seahawks with the traditional preparation schedule and the newfound, old-found rushing ability of Rashad Penny. Glad to see he's bouncing back from countless injuries. I hope he stays healthy. And then Tyler Lockett getting it together, and hopefully DK can step it up a little bit. But I'm going to take the Seahawks.
The final 4 o'clock game for the week will be the Packers versus the Ravens. Now, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers completely just went off. 4 touchdowns, 341 yards. He still owns the Bears. The game was a little bit iffy in the first half, but then the second half, Rodgers was like, no.
They taunted him. They did the discount double check on him.
Yeah, it was over. The first quarter, 3-0. The second quarter, 24 points for the Bears and 21 points for Green Bay. And then after that, it was just basically just straight Green Bay. 17 in the third and 7 in the fourth. You don't mess with Aaron Rodgers.
No, you don't taunt at him. It never ends well for anybody.
Yeah. Devontae Adams, 10 catches, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams is probably one of the greatest quarterback wide receiver combo that we've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, I would.
Well, you got Brady and Gronk.
Mm-hmm. Harrison and Manning.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying in the last few years.
Oh, okay.
And
that's
currently playing still.
Back a little bit.
Currently playing.
Okay.
I would say he's...
I don't think there's a better currently playing. I don't think there's a better duo.
Really, you don't think Tom Brady and Gronk is better than that?
Not right now.
I would say yards definitely goes to Adams because he's just he's got that yards after catch when he can burn it. But I think I don't know. It's tough. But that's a good combo and it'll get it done. Now, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson is he left early last week with an injury. He is
they're saying they're planning on him to play, but it's coming from the Ravens, so we'll have to wait to see what the injury reports say.
Right. So the backup Tyler Huntley, he has a very, very similar play style as Lamar. The only difference I think is, he played good. He had 270 yards and a touchdown filling in, and he also ran for 6 times for 45 yards. He scrambles a lot. He definitely is Lamar Jackson, what does Lupo say, 0.2 or something like that. The only thing is just Tyler Huntley looks like he's a little bit like a loose cannon, a little bit all over the place. Like he definitely has that fire explosive about him, but that looks like that could bite you sometimes because he did fumble twice. So, with that being said, Lupo took the Packers. I got to go. I've been talking about Aaron Rodgers since week 1. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers, my boy. Matt, who are you taking?
Yeah, I can't go against the Packers in this one, especially now that they are starting to get their own little dual threat at running, or not dual threat, but double-headed monster at running back with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
It's a lot of A's.
Yeah, it's... Oh, my God. There's so many A's. Wow, 4 people who have their name starting with the letter A rushed the ball for the Packers. So, NFL stats, let's see if that's our record.
And I honestly throw Devontae Adams in there, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, this is a lot. Yeah, I'm going to go with that rushing attack. That's just the icing on the cake to an already great passing attack. Packers are rolling, and they're going to win. Prime time.
Sorry, it's weird without Lupo. Lupo is our prime
time.
Yeah, and
prime time.
He always does say
prime time. Prime time.
The prime time game will be the Saints versus the Bucks. Lupo took the Bucks. Obviously,
Prime time.
He's gonna say, you don't go against Tom Brady. I gotta agree. I'm taking the Bucks too. Tom Brady and
prime time.
Tom Brady looked great. He was throwing lasers. Chris Godwin, 105 yards. Threw a straight-up dot in the corner of the end zone to Mike Evans for a touchdown. I think that was his... I think the touchdown... Or, damn, who did... He threw a ball.
The walk-off.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, Perriman.
700th, yeah.
The 700th touchdown. And did you see the ball boy make
sure
they grabbed that ball? We don't want to have another incident with Mike Evans giving it away.
100 touchdowns ago.
He would have took the ball from Perriman and be like, listen, I got to give that to somebody. Leonard Fournette also had a great game, 113 yards. I'm happy for the guy. The guy deserves it. You know, he played great in on the Jaguars. A little bit banged up over some time, but now he's definitely taken that role over Ronald Jones the second. Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara. That's the only thing I'm going to talk about. They just killed it. 203 total rushing yards and 3 total rushing touchdowns between the two, even though Matt said that Taysom Hill's second rushing touchdown
doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
That 44-yarder does not count.
Okay.
He should have kneeled the ball. Well, like, hey, look, anyone listening who started him in fantasy is thrilled, but Alvin Kamara was even telling him to, hey, why don't you just not do that?
Yeah, bad sportsmanship, but listen, it is what it is. It was against the Jets. So it didn't matter. When
they look at the stats, though, and that's how some players end up getting paid. They look at the number of touchdowns. So, hey, look, grab the touchdown, man.
Yeah.
You don't know how long you got in the league. Get your money when you can.
True. So, with that being said, who's your pick? I'm guessing you're going with the
Buccaneers.
Yeah, I figured.
It's only going to be a close game.
Yeah, I figured. But anything else, Matt?
No, that's
okay.
I have nothing else to say.
Okay. The last game, Monday, December 20th, will be the Vikings versus the Bears. So last week I said that the Vikings were going to lose because Kirk Cousins. I'm going to get there. Because I don't like Kirk Cousins, and I didn't know that Dalvin Cook wasn't going to play. Mm-hmm. And I called him a glass back, and the dude went off. 27 carries, 205 yards, and 2 rushing TDs. I'm sorry you balled out, and I wish you weren't like so inconsistent with being hurt all the time. I wish you just did this all year. You and Derrick Henry, if you were both healthy, you guys would be the number 1 and number 2 if you played like this every week. But you don't. So, listen, I'm saying sorry for last week, but that's all you're getting. You're still a glass back. You didn't play. And what? And you won.
Flow Rider did the halftime show.
Oh, I didn't even know that until later.
It mattered because they were due.
You did say that, and you were right again. The other upside for the Vikings was Justin Jefferson, 7 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown. KJ Osborne, he had a touchdown, and he had 3 receptions for 83 yards. It is 62-yard long for the day, but I ain't never see KJ Osborne do anything other than that.
He's had a couple games.
Moving on. So Justin Fields.
I wonder if Thielen's going to be back. I did not hear anything about that ankle sprain. I'm assuming he's not going to be.
Yeah, it's true. Listen, if you're rushing with Dalvin Cook, you don't even need wide receivers. Justin Jefferson's enough as long as Dalvin Cook gets his yards. The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
Justin Fields, he had an alright game. A little bit sloppy at 2 picks, but
I hate this team.
it ain't enough to beat Aaron Rodgers. Allen Robinson's still broken.
The system's terrible. I hope he gets out of there.
Their coach stinks.
He should have got fired around Thanksgiving when
yeah.
he was supposed to.
Yeah, I agree. The Viking Lupo is taking the Vikings.
About time.
Listen, Dalvin Cook, I swear you better go off this week. Because I apologize, and I'm going to say it right now. Play for me, win me the game, and I won't talk trash on you no more. How about that? That's the deal. So I'm taking the Vikings in hopes and prayers that Dalvin Cook will go off again. Because honestly, the Justin Fields and the Bears do not wow me. They got nothing. The coach stinks. The players, I'm sorry, they all stink. The Vikings, they stink too, but Dalvin Cook's my Lord and Savior. Help me, Dalvin Cook, you're my only hope. How do you take it?
The Vikings are due again.
Woo! Confirmed! Confirmed. Okay. So, there's no buys this week. That is it for Week 15 NFL Pick'ems. Like I said, it is a very close competition between all 3 of us. There's only a few weeks left. Obviously, we're going to continue this into the playoffs and all that. But remember, there's going to be a lot of games reduced due to not every team makes the playoffs.
He's talking about the Lions. The Lions aren't going to make the playoffs.
The Lions and the Bears.
The Bears.
So, that is it. We will see you next week for Week 16. And also, if you are enjoying this at any moment, drop a like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all the support you guys give us. Also, Pokemon Shining Pearl and Back for Blood, that series is still going. You guys have definitely been stepping it up the last few weeks, and I very, very much appreciate it. And at some point, I think I'm going to let these 2 series fall out, and hopefully I would like to do Halo solo, but I think I might do Halo multiplayer with Matt when it does finally releases, but we'll see how long that takes. I might either end up doing it solo, or hopefully I would love to do co-op with Matt for you guys. I think that would be fun, and we'll have a lot of comedy, jokes about the Bears and
The Bears.
and other things. So, this is Chapter 11. I'm Keller with Matt this week. No Lupo. Get better, buddy, again. And we will see you next time. Peace.
And if your fantasy football playoffs are starting this week, good luck. See ya.
And if it's your birthday, happy birthday.